So I think I just found the connection that everybody's been wondering about in Fallout 76. As we know, the Burning Springs DLC is loosely tied into the show. They had Cooper Howard there. And we know Cooper Howard is going and looking for Vault Tech vaults, looking for his wife and his daughter. The managerial vaults, be specifically. Then in the show, a lot of people were like, "How's a Deathclaw there? It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make. They shouldn't be there until after the bombs." Well, FEV is a thing, and the Enclave is a thing. And Fallout 76 has already pointed us in the direction that the Enclave was experimenting with FEV. You know, when Fallout 76 came out, they were already pointing us in that direction. Well, I found something today while playing Fallout 76 that I haven't seen anybody mention. It's a vertibird crash site just south of Athens. And one of the bodies, one of the skeletons, the only skeleton dressed like a soldier, wearing a green, uniform, is holding a holotape. And on the holotape is basically the conversation going on as it crashed. And it's a man saying, "Pilot, how long till we get there?" And the pilot says, 45 minutes. And he says, "Well, you need to watch out for all of this turbulence. It could wake up the subject." Then you hear, "Rah, rah, rah," and then they scream, and then you hear the subject say, "Pathetic," "Rah," and then it crashes, and you hear the sound of the crash. See, if that was all that was on the holotape, well, no, but somebody at Bethesda labeled it, so you knew who was talking. So the pilot was labeled pilot, but the other person was labeled Enclave officer. And the RAR was labeled the Rust King. So when they mentioned 45 minutes away, I did the math. Like a typical helicopter will travel at about 160 miles an hour. At 160 miles an hour, in a straight line from Athens, Ohio, 45 minutes will get you to the Greenbrier in West Virginia, or the White Springs in the game. How does that tie into the show? It proves that the Enclave was doing experiments with FEV and created super mutants and Deathclaws and probably all the other types of mutants you run into in the wasteland before the bombs dropped. And it goes to prove that the Enclave is probably the big bad guy in the show in season 2. And that's who Hank keeps talking to. And that's who Coop is looking for. And that's phase 2 of the Vault Tech. Like, Vault Tech is owned by the Enclave. They are a division of the Enclave. That's what I'm picking up what they're putting down. I'm putting the pieces together. Before the bombs dropped, they were transporting the Rust King, a super mutant, to the White Spring bunker. Probably to use him to kill all of the senators and everything that weren't part of the Enclave, because that's the first thing that they did after the bombs dropped at the Enclave bunker at the White Spring. Was kill everybody in the government that wasn't members of the Enclave. And he was probably going to be the muscle for their wasteland. I don't know. It's interesting questions, but it clears up questions for the show where people were like, "This can't happen before the bombs drop." Well, it turns out it probably fucking did. And it also turns out that the Enclave is probably behind it all.